June 15th, right?
Yes.
Meeting of the District 118 Board of Education. Before we go any further, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We were in closed session. We're out of closed session now in open session. I want to say that it's so nice and cool in here. Thank you. Compared to outside, this is awesome. I like the HVAC that works. I wish my office worked this well. It just does not quite catch up with it. But anyway, we have, first of all, our item number 3 to, I would entertain a motion for student discipline.
Mr. President, I move that we approve case number, the recommendation case number 22223056.
Thank you. I have a second, a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes 5-0. We're missing a few people this evening, but we hope that they're having a wonderful time wherever they're at. Okay, so we'll just leave it at that. So everyone has an excused absence. How about that? Then that brings us to item number 4, our consent agenda. We do not have any changes to the agenda. So I would entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none. Oh,
I have a question.
Yes.
The agreement, there are intergovernmental agreements for student services. One is with Dr. Mahone. And I think I've asked this before. I'd like to know the numbers of students that she's seen. And I think we were told we would be given that information. And I don't think we've ever received it. Am I wrong? Molly, do you know?
I think, yes, we were seeing over 127 is my exact count. But some are on a more routine
Right.
follow-up, and some are only seeing maybe once every 6 months, just depends on their needs, case by case.
Sure. Do you think we could get a breakdown without names, just a breakdown of repeat visits and how many first-time visits and that sort of thing? Thank you. I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
Speaking of that, there is no price. Do we have an amount that we're paying?
We should have.
yeah, but I'm sure.
Yeah, we discussed it. Right?
Yeah, I'm sure it's to whatever the original agreement was. If it's not specified here, then the price has not changed.
Okay, that was my concern, is
Yeah.
that it does not state in here that it is the original agreement,
Mhm.
or if there is an increase, and I think we should know that.
It should state that there should not be a change in the price if none is indicated.
If there are enough questions, you want to take this out of the consent agenda, or are you okay with it where it's at?
I'm not okay with it. I want to know an amount, because if we're voting to renew a contract.
Okay, let's take it out of the consent agenda. We'll just add it as item number, because it's not a consent agenda item now because you're already discussing
Yes,
it.
yes.
Okay, so
Right.
it will be item number 6. We'll take it as 5A.
Yes.
After public comments, we'll do 5A and then leave the numbers the same, okay? All right, Lakeisha? All right, so that'll come out and then we'll have that discussion after public comments.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Is the facilitator also in the consent? Or is that a discussion? Is the discussion on it? Okay, I'm fine.
Okay? So everybody knows it is the consent agenda except item K has been removed. Okay? Everyone in agreement?
Yes.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. That brings us to item number 5, public comments.
Hello, my name's Alan Rivers, and as of June 1st, I became the new Danville Education Association president.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. A couple months prior to that, maybe about a month, we sent you a climate survey, but what we sent you was just the PowerPoint and the graphs. Tonight, I want to present you with basically the entire survey, along with the comments, issues, and solutions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take a fresh one. One fresh one? Yeah, thank you. If you want to leave the rest, we'll get it to them. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and one for, thanks, so that's awesome. I'll make sure they get them, okay? No, Lakeisha will make sure that they get them.
I also sent an email introducing myself, I don't know, about 2 weeks before I became president. In there is all my information, cell phone number. If there's anything you guys would love to discuss that you may find or read in the survey, feel free to give me a call anytime. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think, well, I can't discuss because it's public comments, so. Thank you for your comments. See, learning. That's it. 5A, item K, Mahome agreement. Now, what do you want to do with this agreement?
All I'm saying, Doc, is that in every situation, we have a presentation.
Well, we might be able to answer some of these questions.
I don't really have a presentation, but I hope to answer some of your questions.
Yeah.
Lindsay Nixon, Assistant Director of Special Education. I've been working with Dr. Mahome since we've started this, kind of as the liaison between the district and herself, since we consult with her since, roughly about 2018. I think we started mid-school year.
So your
That's all.
questions are?
I have to do the
My
math.
one
so.
question is, if we are continuing the contract as is, it should be noted. Because if we're going into a contract, we need to know what we are saying to the community that we're paying.
Mhm.
And, I wasn't here in 2018, so I don't know.
So it's in the new contract, that's $350 an hour, and that's never changed. We have kept that rate since we've started it. So we currently do 2 Saturdays a month, even through the summer. So you're looking at 24 Saturdays at $350 an hour, and I would say we roughly do 12 to 14 hours, just depending on, quite honestly, it depends on if every appointment shows or not. Sometimes we have some no-shows and some cancellations and rescheduling, and so some of the paperwork stuff is then filtered into that downtime. If we have a full schedule and everyone is able to come, then it tends to be more 14 hours for the day.
And I see that you do have that in compensation
Yes.
in the contract.
Uh-huh.
It is there at that rate.
Yes.
My question that I asked earlier would be about the numbers.
Mhm.
And considering this is based on number of hours that Dr. Mahomes works,
Yes,
I think knowing what those numbers are would be helpful to us.
to break it down.
Yeah.
I can do that for
Okay,
sure.
thank you.
And, just so you know, new patients are typically about an hour. Follow-ups are anywhere from 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So when you think about like what a schedule looks like, it might be an hour, then we do a couple of follow-ups, then another hour for a new appointment. There's an hour lunch in that.
Does she charge the full $350 if she doesn't do a full hour's service? Do you know?
We fill it up with the paperwork. So then her and I communicate with starting what we call coordination of care letters to the pediatricians or family doctors. So if there's a no-show, then she works with me and we do that.
And did you say it's one Saturday?
One what?
One Saturday?
2 Saturdays a
Two
month.
Saturdays?
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to ask you basically, how beneficiary is she to this district?
I think extremely.
Well, I wanted to ask
I
you
work
'cause
pretty
you're
closely
working
with her,
them
but
and you're
yeah.
seeing what's going on with these students and the kind of issues they're dealing with and what she brings in her
Right.
ability to diagnose them being at the level that she's at.
And it's kind of a range of different services. So we do get school referrals from the school staff, and they take top priority, right? So if we have principals who have referrals, our social workers, our psychs, they're working with the parents to utilize this service. Those referrals come to me, and I do put those at the top of the list since she's consulting with us. And then we get referrals from local area doctors as well. And we see anything from concerns with anxiety, ADHD, school phobia, some learning problems, autism. We've done several kind of collaborative groups with looking at diagnoses of autism with our psychs, trying to help with the students. There is quite a bit of parent education in that too. I think she has a real good expertise of kind of working with our parents and talking them through those medical diagnoses and medication and just that kind of stuff, why it's important to be consistent with medication and that kind of thing. And she has worked with, she's worked with, like during the school day, we've done some different things where she's been able to virtually meet with principal and social worker and talk about some specific student behaviors in the school. One particular case I can think of is at Garfield, and she's kind of worked with that to help the principal work through some discipline and behavioral problems.
Now also, there wasn't anybody with her credentials available in this area.
Not to
It's
my
another
knowledge.
reason why we were fortunate to have
Right.
Dr. Geddes to find this lady for us,
Mm-hmm.
bring her to our district. Because there's no
Certainly
one in
not in
Vermilion
Danville.
County- Yeah, no one in Vermilion County
Right,
is qualified to do this work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
correct. And I would say there's been maybe one in Champaign-Urbana, and then I recently heard, I think a couple months ago, somebody had retired. And Aunt Martha's has been trying to find someone, and they've somehow worked with a nurse practitioner, but historically, they've had someone who hasn't been able to see kids under the age of 12. And so, I mean, we're seeing preschool kids all the way to our seniors.
Yeah. So I'm
Okay.
just glad we have her.
Me too.
Ms. Nixon, I have a question. Also, you work Saturdays with Dr. Mahomes?
I do.
Are you compensated?
For my time, yes.
Okay.
Not necessarily a monetary compensation, but yes, time.
Okay. But I appreciate that you give up a Saturday to do this. No, that wasn't what you signed on for when you took the job, so
Yeah.
I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to check. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Yes, we appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I appreciate Dr. Mahone immensely. It's like a Jedi Knight. We have, seriously, this is like a very valuable, rare commodity. Okay, as you hit the nail on the head, Pastor Miller. I mean that is willing to come to our district and help us out here.
Yeah.
I mean, the price could be anything as far as I was going to say.
Could be,
It's-
yeah.
Just to find someone who's willing to do it and work with our students is a great thing, and that we've had a relationship for this long is another incredible thing. So I'm truly appreciative, and I hope we can keep this going.
Absolutely.
That's why I hope that everything will be smooth. Therefore, I'm asking if we have enough information here that we can have a motion made to accept Dr. Mahomes' contract.
So
This-
move. Second?
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Great. Roll call votes, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Thanks for popping up and taking care of that. Yeah, we'll still need the numbers if you get that sometime.
Yes.
Okay, appreciate that.
Thank you.
That brings us to 6, if I'm not mistaken, from my top of my head, which is, special education.
Good evening, Board. I'm Molly Bailey, the Director of Special Education. And tonight we have a second reading of the Restraint Timeout and Isolated Timeout Reduction Plan. Just kind of a reminder that this is due no later than July 1st to the Illinois State Board of Education, that we were required to have a team, including, and procedures, forms, and recommendations for how we will eventually first reduce and then eventually, hopefully, end the use of restraint, timeout, and isolated timeout. in the
Great.
district.
I need a motion so we can have some questions.
Move to approve.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Question, board.
This is only special ed?
Any student.
Okay, so the plan, as I read it, is that we are going to try to eliminate restraint?
We have to. We were told we have to try to eliminate restraint.
Okay, so what happens to the defense of staff when they are attacked by students?
At this time, we don't have to completely eliminate it, but we are told that we have to try and we have to use all, anything that we have. We utilize for our special education students, some of them have gone to Circle Academy, to our therapeutic day school. Our numbers are up there for our students who we were restraining continually. It comes to a point where we've asked that, what do? We call our SROs, we call 911 in instances where it's a case where we can't. But at this time, we still can restrain. We're just supposed to try all the things first. And that's kind of the forms. If you are restraining, it's been a few times, try to hold a meeting, talk about what can be done. Can we put some other things in place? Can we, add social work? Can we do a referral to Dr. Mahome? All those things that we have at our disposal to try to utilize other things first.
And I know you've done a lot of training with staff in the district on, how to do this, but I have to ask the question because I wouldn't be fair to staff if I didn't ask the question, because we just asked each other the question in closed session. And it concerns me, and I'm preaching to the choir now. It's nothing against you.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I'm looking at people handing out rules and regulations that aren't walking the halls in these buildings and dealing daily with some of the behavior of some of our students, and not special ed. They don't have
Correct.
that label,
Correct.
but just in general. So I guess that would be my question is, as we're going through this and we're looking down the road.
At this time, the goal is for ISB. We don't have a specific goal necessarily. So ISB passed their goal down to us. And so we are supposed to try, and especially for kids who have 5 or more instances in a 30-day period. We have a very select few students that fall in that category. Most of those students we do then look at a more therapeutic placement or residential. But then that's also becomes an unfunded, mandate then, right? Because that costs us a lot more to find those, secure those placements. Also, Circle Academy's had a wait list all year. I can't send any more kids. They're at 5 kids right now on the wait list. And that's for next school year already. They're trying to open another classroom as we speak, but I'm not sure if they're having the same staffing issues as us. So it's a slippery slope a bit.
And your comments are more appropriate for Springfield than for Danville Board.
Yep.
I could pile on with you, but it doesn't do any good. We've
No,
had these.
Also-
I didn't feel like I was attacking her.
Yeah,
I
no.
just know that
We know.
somewhere down the line, somebody's gotta be listening to us, not in here, but outside of here. Because we're being faced with these things
And some other districts are probably going to struggle more than us. When the article came out a couple years ago, I called Skip and we removed our doors immediately. We don't have timeout rooms in District 118 at all. So if any kid would be, kind of isolated from peers, it would be in a large classroom with with a staff member. So it's not that we don't use those at all. But some districts and co-ops still have been. So it it will look harder. It will even be harder for them. We've already done some of this work in the district.
We're proactive.
We try to be.
Yes, with all the mandates from our lovely state. Thank you, Illinois. Hail, Illinois. Okay, but we need this, the point is, we need this.
Correct.
We need this plan, we need to put it in, we need to comply with law. So I would love for us to have a vote on this and see if we could pass it. So, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Item 7, our favorite, ownership in education.
Good evening,
Move to
board.
approve.
Second.
Wow, that was easy.
Yeah.
If
No,
you
you
guys-
have to highlight, you have to tell us.
I know. If you remember at our last meeting in May, I brought forth the work of the committee. Mrs. Porter was here along with Mrs. Fluno. They are wonderful in running the committee. I'm just a spectator, but the topic of discussion for this year absolutely was cell phones. And cell phones have really been a disruption. The committee overwhelmingly felt, and it is made up of staff, parents, we invite anybody, there's 4 meetings. We're not changing the language on cell phones. They are still to be out, the students can bring them to school, but they are to be out of sight and may not be utilized during the school day. They are subject to confiscation. We need to educate our parents more about stop calling your children when they are in class or texting. Texting's the same thing. We had to educate parents and staff about videotaping someone against their knowledge is against the law under the Illinois Eavesdropping Act, as well as bringing cell phones into the school and videotaping by our parents is against the law. So if you'll notice, we have signs in all of our buildings now that say no videotaping, no videos. So that was one aspect. You have the red line copy. It shows which pieces of the cell phone verbiage was changed in the OIE. The second thing that changed was assault and battery is actually a criminal law term. It is not a school discipline term. What the state is telling us we need to use and that we need to make sure our staff uses when they say this happened is physical attack with or without injury. That was a change that was made on page 10. If there is an actual assault and battery, that would be noted in a police report by our SROs and by the police. Last couple changes were just the penalties were updated, the verbiage was updated. And then along with the cell phone, the last thing is we're recommending that every student sign a cell phone usage agreement with their parent, just like they do for the correct use of the internet as part of the first days of school. We wanted to have it by centralized registration, but obviously that doesn't start till tomorrow. So it had to be board approved. But this is an agreement that every student and their parent will sign saying you understand our expectations so that there should be no confusion when consequences take place if they choose not to follow the guidelines. So that, my friends, is the OIE for this year. You were given red line copies and it's recommended that the board approve these changes.
We have a recommendation to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion second. Any questions, comments? Yes. What if they don't sign?
Then they're not allowed to have a cell phone in the building. You have to have one of these to have one of these.
They have like a ban list, they can go.
They would
okay,
have
Johnny
students-
can't.
And it's just, it's really no different than how we handle internet access. You know, parents sign off. If we don't have it, they're not given privileges.
Okay. And we will maybe keep track of that, but that's not gonna happen because everyone's gonna sign it.
Pardon?
It's not gonna happen because everybody's gonna sign it.
Everybody's gonna sign it. I guarantee it.
Yeah, just sign here. Questions, any? Good. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes 5-0. Thanks to the committee, that is a lot of work, many meetings over the course of the year, we hear about them every now and then, but after you sit in one and you go, okay, and someone has to collate someone has to go and put all this stuff together. So thank you and whomever and the team that did that.
Miss
We
Fluno,
certainly
Miss
appreciate
Porter,
that.
and then all the teachers and
Thank you.
parents that popped on. And like I said, we have good conversations. We really do.
So my next question is that as I was reading this, going OIE, and it'll be brief. Don't worry. Sorry, Lakeisha. What if we were to change, the board changes their, we print this up and it becomes a policy. But what if the board says, you know what, I don't like OIE and forget the committee. I think we need to change OIE. Can we do it? Can the board do it in October or November? And change something then if something needs to be addressed immediately?
The board has every right to change its policy at any time. That's the right of the board.
That's what I wanted to hear.
However, when you say change OIE, change the document, sure. That's the will of the board as far as any policy changes
Yeah.
that you want to make to your board policy, you can. However, as far as OIE, the group, the review, that's school code mandated. We have to review our discipline policy every single year, invite stakeholders like teachers, administrators, parents, and then review it and then suggest recommendations for changes to policy.
But so in other words, we could unilaterally act on something.
Absolutely.
If so needed.
If it's so needed.
I mean, we're not
absolutely.
looking to do so,
Right.
but the question was for that, say an emergency, something came up.
The only thing that is not allowable under school discipline is there is no such thing as a no tolerance policy. That was done away with.
We've been through that before.
Right.
Yeah. We had several no tolerance
You
policies.
did.
They didn't seem to work so well. Okay, that brings us to item number 9. No, item 8.
8.
Discipline report.
That's why I'm still here. This is the
Yep.
ISB, Illinois State Board of Education Discipline Plan. It's actually a plan. Just as Ms. Stannis pointed out that there had to be a restraint plan filed for the district, this is another legislated report plan that needs to be posted. It was actually due June 1st, but our meeting is June 15th. We're good. The state knows it. This is basically a culminating effort of many groups, because discipline, we talk about our numbers, our discipline, our student behaviors. We talk about it in administration meetings like our DILTs, which we call district improvement meetings. We talk about it in school improvement team meetings. We talk about it in our OIE committee, student supports, when they talk about, when they're talking about restraint. So discipline is something that's discussed all throughout the year. The state charged us with, here's your numbers, and again, they used last year's numbers and the year before that. And they said, we're doing a great job with finding alternative placements for students. They're applauding us. We're doing a great job with that. They said, you got to work on suspensions. You got too many suspension days. Where we struggle, though, is back to Ms. Carey's point once upon a time. What do you do with a student who is extremely violent, who refuses to yield, who absolutely refuses to follow direction? What other choice do you have but to suspend? And while we understand that we would never put our staff or our other students in safety's harm's way, we would act responsibly. The state is asking us to really reflect on what kind of interventions we put in place. How are we supporting students? As a board, we have partnered with outside organizations. We have tried to bring in as many mental health supports for our students as possible. But some of the things identified in this plan that were identified by our staff and parents is that we really, really need to look at, and this is where we struggle, we need more help. We have so many students who have so many needs, but we don't have the staffing, and we know we struggle with staffing. Our behavior interventionists have been a wonderful addition to the high school. I know that started out as a grant-funded position, and we're continuing it because we know it's important. We need 10 of them. We don't have the staffing. We will continue to try to do that. But this plan really encapsulates everything that Ms. Stannis, Miss Bailey, I'm so sorry, Molly, Mrs. Bailey and Miss Nixon through the special education department, as well as with general education, Miss Bunton, PBIS, everything, kind of bringing it all together, saying, what are all the aspects of discipline that we need to look at? Our parents need education. They need to understand you have to be consistent. You have to have boundaries for students. They need structure. They need support. And if you can't give it at home, there is support in the community. That's why we bring so many community groups to centralized registration, so parents can see there are community entities that can help you. If your student needs after-school care and tutoring, I mean, we heard, and I can't think off the bat, her group, that Kelly, who is the Community Action, is begging, please give us your kids, we'll support them, we'll tutor them. So this discipline improvement plan is, yes, it is be mandated thing. It's just right on top of the restraint plan that Mrs. Bailey presented. It's going to be combined eventually when the state realizes you're asking us for all these plans, but really it's one comprehensive. So yes, we have to do this, and it will be posted once you approve it. So it is recommended that the board approve the ISB discipline plan.
Okay,
Move to approve.
thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? I'm going to see none. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll get that in by October.
No, you just approved it.
It's electronically sent. Item number 9, calendars. Calendar girl.
Good
Good song.
evening, board. I'm Mary Ellen Button. I'm not your normal calendar conversationalist, but tonight you have me. Our fabulous state, in all of their wisdom, has brought us back to an older rule. We used to be able to count parent-teacher conferences, and we would get to have some extra professional development days to make up for those parent-teacher conferences. And they took those away from us a couple years ago. They have since decided to bring them back. So we have to amend our calendar for next year to account for those. So we have done that. That's what you have before you. So the changes are reflected in that calendar. So we are backing up the day that the students start, and we will have 2 days for professional development for the teachers. I believe they will be very happy about that, because one day to get ready before the students come is not easy. And then we'll have a full day professional development within the school year, and that's essentially what happened. So we just need your recommendation on that change to the calendar yet again.
So move.
Second.
So it did back up the students' first a day of attendance to a Friday, which,
It's crazy.
yes, we did the very best we could to make that not
No.
crazy, but
I don't see any snow days. Anyway, any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Do we go through the motion? We did
Yes,
it, okay. And this is just from the old principal. Why can't we get finals before Christmas?
because it messes with the amount of days with the semesters. So we count. I'm very careful because this was a recommendation from the high school too. If we put, there aren't as many days before Christmas, if we do it that way. So you might have, if you have 9-week courses, then the 9-week courses before Christmas are very short compared to the 9-week courses after Christmas. So that is part of it. So we've looked at them to try to get the semesters so they're very, very similar. And the only way that we're able to do that is to move things after Christmas.
But it affects.
It's not
Kids
easy.
go to that, early grads.
Yeah.
That's
We
my only
have to,
question.
we have
'cause
to make changes anyway
Mm-hmm.
to accommodate that because at one point before COVID, we were getting out before.
Right.
Doing our finals before.
Right, and I believe it was from, we got the the high school had requested, it may have been before you were principal there, they wanted that not to happen anymore, to get that, they wanted the semesters and the quarters to be even. So it might be something that we can revisit again. And that's, you know, we can look at that again, but that was the issue with it, was that it was really, making the 9 weeks very difficult for the, quarter-long classes.
Yeah, and I just asked because I've had parents concerned about early grads going on to DAC or somewhere else, and they haven't finished. And they're starting, and we're still.
Yeah, there's all kinds, the calendars are super fun to work on.
Also,
Tell Dak to start later.
Okay.
so who,
Tell Dak to start later.
oh, I'm not in there.
Oh.
I deal with this. Where's that board member? Also, I had a question, just a question. I sent a sample to Dr. Geddes about building in the, when you talk about calendar, the snow days. And in there, I know we would have to, and this people will kill me, start a little earlier, but the snow days would be built in, and if we didn't use them, they would be, and I got this idea from some other districts, Indiana does it. And I just wanted us to maybe look at it.
I would be happy to. I love that stuff, like looking at those things, especially the innovative. Hopefully, we still have the emergency days, the e-learning days that we can use, and our hope would be that we would use those. The only situation, or the difficult situation, is when we can't plan ahead.
Yeah.
So hopefully, the e-learning days would alleviate those, but it's,
Just so that it would kind of solidify the end of the school year. Because this year, I just believe it's so late.
right.
That,
And some of that was because of when we had to start a little bit later because of COVID again. So this is the longest year ever and the shortest summer ever. And these poor teachers, so I'm really hoping that this is just a small little consolation to be able to at least have 2 days, you know, to prepare
yeah.
before the students come. Because it is really hard to get ready with 1 day, to do all the things that the state wants us to do before the kids come in addition to the things that we have to do to be prepared, you know, that we as teachers know we have to do to be prepared.
Okay, calendar. Ready to vote? Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 10, Human Resources, Auditorium Manager, and a Fine Arts Facilitator.
Good evening, Board. Kimberly Pabst, Human Resources Director. Nice to see you all. Tonight I have for recommendation the Auditorium Manager. This was what was put through as a first reading at our last board meeting. Any questions?
Second.
Have a motion and a second for Auditorium Manager. Any questions or comments? Hope we find the right person.
Absolutely.
We will find
We will.
the right person. There are people out there, and
There are.
we will get that person.
It's
And
really
the
a good
auditorium
idea.
and the auditorium will be ready for that person.
Yes.
See, these are all the
Mr.
things
Truex
I
is
love to
ready.
see.
It's
Yes.
going to be great. And for the community, so.
All right.
The second piece I have for you is a first
Hold on,
reading.
we gotta vote.
Sorry, you have to vote.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, we're efficient, but
I'm
we're not
trying
that
to, like,
fast.
keep it rolling here.
We have a roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes 5-0.
Perfect.
Please, next.
Next one. I don't want to go over my time here. So, first reading on a fine arts facilitator. This is, again, a first reading on a position we are looking to create.
Yeah,
I know you do. I know.
I read through this and I'm a little concerned with this position. Not that I don't think that we need it. It's just that I don't want, and I know building administrators are listed in there, but of more teeth in this position because this person will be facilitating the fine arts throughout the whole district.
Correct.
That, right? And, but where to me, it gets a little tricky is when you look at middle school and high school, foreign language, okay. You're asking that they be, it's not an administrative position?
They do have to have the general administrative position or certification, licensure, fine arts, and they have to be able to evaluate staff.
And that's where I have a little question.
Mm-hmm.
Because this person is district-wide.
Correct.
And if I'm the building principal, an outside person that is not in my building all the time, that is overseeing
Mm-hmm.
this, what happens to department heads at the high school in those areas?
I would hope, as a previous principal as well, that the communication between the administrator and this person in the position would be ongoing. I wouldn't want just somebody coming in and, not just somebody, that's not fair to say to this person, you take this position, but as a previous principal, I wanted to say in every evaluation that took place within the building, as I'm the one evaluating and responsible for them. So my hope would be that that communication would be there.
No.
In terms
So
of
the
evaluating.
department heads are gone?
Department heads,
There's
oh no,
communication?
they don't evaluate. The only,
No, I know, but where's the confusion between where this person's authority is and working with,
the department heads that communicate,
because there was nothing in there about that.
where they would come into like the PLCs with the department heads, where they come into the planning piece.
I saw where it said that they would help with some type of,
District
Training.
type planning and creation of the curriculum. My hope would be that they would go together when they're looking at the curriculum, that they would bring in with the department heads and the department for the whole team. Now they would be stationed with the curriculum department and working with the curriculum. So to me, it would be no different. What we're looking at is it would be no different than how they come up with curriculum for every other subject area. They would bring in the bodies from, in the past, we've had small teams that create the curriculum, and but with this one, it would be more of the fine arts and the foreign language pieces that would come in and help with the curriculum piece. But it would serve, this position will serve a bigger role, but a common role to what the assistants already have in the curriculum office, except for they would bring in more knowledge in the piece of the evaluation and the training piece of the administration. You've got more, I see it. You've got more, I see it.
yeah, I do have more, but that's okay.
It seems to me that this is pretty much of a hybrid person that you're looking for, and knowing how difficult it is to hire in the fine arts, and we have a lot of trouble hiring in fine arts, that this person is going to be rare and difficult to find. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Good luck.
I see the need for this person though, because I think this would only improve our fine arts program by having continuity, by someone integrating all the pieces of our fine arts and pulling them together. Not that we don't do it, but people are busy, and we need someone. If we have a wonderful fine arts program doing this and doing this and doing this, but as a district, it could actually move in mass even more efficiently and serve more people and more efficiently if it was all coordinated, a coordinated effort from K to 12. And not that we don't, and again, I'm not saying that we haven't, we've done well with what we've done, but this is someone that, to me that like choreographs what's going to be happening and can see the whole picture, the big picture of what's going on. So without Dr. Jacoby and Dr. Hart, Dr. Hart, Mr. Hart, looking and managing something like that. So yes, there are, as any position, there are things that have to be tiptoed around and massaged. So I understand that the difficulty this is, but I'm anxious to see this position. I see what our conversation will be next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And what our vote will be. I'm always anxious to see that. That brings us to item number, where are we? 11, curriculum, new course offering. 11A, theater arts.
Good evening. A few board meetings ago, you had the opportunity to hear about a theater arts course that we wanted to begin at DHS, not next school year, but the following school year. So this is your opportunity to make a recommendation as to whether or not you would like to see this course go forward.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve this?
Move.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on theater arts?
Remind me who you're thinking would teach this course.
There is a teacher that came forward that recommended it, but I think that it always would depend on schedule availability and everything, so I don't think we ever really write a course with one particular person in mind, because we don't want to lock. You want to make sure that, yeah.
Okay.
But I would think that if this person, they would be a good person to do it, but I don't want to lock that in.
Understood.
Anything else? Any other questions? Seeing none, make a roll call vote, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the motion passes 5-0. Thanks for leaving me off. Item 11B, Eureka on-site coaching.
Okay, so a few board meetings ago, you approved the adoption of a one-year adoption for Eureka Math for K through 6 buildings. So what we've looked into with our ESSER funding is some on-site coaching with Eureka. And we piloted a very small version of this coaching at Mead Park with just a couple of days. It was much cheaper just to do it in one building in just a day or two. And we were very pleasantly surprised with the experience. I believe the teachers felt it was valuable, as did the administrators. So what we would like to do is expand that to the buildings. And so we've brought that forward to you. And the cost per building is $21,375 and no cents. 0 cents for each building to participate, if you agree to that. And we have this will be used through title.
No,
ESSER.
It's part of your ESSER.
Okay.
Every building.
The elementary, K through 6.
Every elementary building.
Yeah, K through 6.
Okay.
What's your pleasure, board? Needs a motion and a roll call.
I thought we did that.
We
So
did
moved.
for the Eureka program,
So
but
moved.
second.
Yeah, thank you. So you have a motion and a second here for the Eureka on-site coaching recommendation of 21,000,
375.
yeah,
Hang on one
375
second.
per building.
Yes.
Okay, so we know that's exactly what we're voting on. Any questions or comments?
Now, this is for the full year, right?
Yeah, they come multiple times throughout the school year.
Highly recommended by you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good enough.
And I went myself and watched we've asked for a very specific trainer that worked well with the individuals at Mead Park. And she liked us and they liked her. And so I feel like she would be a good fit in all the buildings. Sometimes I guess wrong.
Okay.
But I feel like this, and Mrs. Wilson, our math, and Ms. Edrington were there too, and I think they feel like she would be a good fit for everybody as well.
Okay, thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. Business and Finance, our treasurer and bond approval. Let's do treasurer.
Okay. So, good evening, board. D118 family. I'm Nurse Sister Franklin, Director of Business and Finance. The first recommendation I have is to approve the appointment of Ms. Mary Chantos for the position of treasurer for School District 118 for a 1 year starting July 1st, 2022.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations. That was easy.
Thank you. And the bond portion of that was the treasurer's bond portion. That's why I read like that. Okay. My second recommendation is to continue. I recommend that we continue our membership with Vermilion Advantage for an annual membership investment of $6,000.
Second. And for that, what do we get for our money, for our investment?
I do know that Vermilion Advantage helps with recruitment of staff for us, and I know that it also gives our admin team opportunity to network with all of the business leaders in the community, which was very helpful when Dr. Geddes was working with the seniors, preparing them for what they were going to do next year. And when I came to Danville, they helped me look for housing. So
I just wanted the public to hear. With
yes,
that.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank
We
you.
also work with our recruiter a lot too. They help us a lot, so just so the public knows. We just email them right there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paps.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a motion? A second? Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
It's not up there.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Brings it to 12B, Vermilion Advantage Membership Investment Recommendation.
That's the one I just did,
We
right?
just did that.
Oh, I'm sorry. 12C, Resolution. I have to read this.
Yes. So I did ask Mr. Lewis to come this evening virtually, just in case you guys had any questions. So is it okay if I pull him up?
Sure. I don't know if we'll have any questions, but
All right, just in case.
y'all gonna have any questions for him?
On which one?
The
On
resolution.
12C on the bond.
Bond resolution.
Was this the same one from last time?
Yeah.
No,
I
no.
don't have any. I
Yeah.
don't know about
Okay,
that.
I will shoot him an email.
Yeah,
That's
then, yeah,
fine.
to say goodbye to him and
Okay, thank
and
you.
thank him.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, so this is the motion, the resolution providing for the issue of not to exceed $4,650,000 general obligation refunding school bonds, Series 2022 of the district for the purpose of refunding certain outstanding bonds of the district, providing for the levy of a direct annual tax sufficient to pay the principal and interest on the bond, and authorizing the sale of the bond to the purchaser thereof. May I have a motion to approve that resolution?
So
Thank you. And a second?
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? It's the same as what about
Yes, sir.
refunding the bond. And just as do you remember how much it was supposed to save us? I mean, it was,
So at the time of the last meeting, we were at $186,000 over the rest of the life of the bond.
right.
But remember, they still have to go out, and so they are anticipating that it'll be better than that.
Yeah. Okay. So at least
That's our
so
hope.
or higher,
Yes.
which just sounds like a great deal to me. Thank you very
For
much.
savings to our
Okay.
taxpayers.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Of callable bonds, because these are the callable bonds
Yes,
and
at
we
this
could do
time.
this at this time.
Yes.
Okay. Roll call vote, please. Please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
13, food, always my favorite. Summer food service program. Boy, it feels like summertime, doesn't it? Because it must be.
Good evening, Board. I am Zetta Pijot, the Director of Food Services. I am here to recommend the Summer Food Service Program, which consists of DHS, KDBA, Mark Denman, Mead Park, Southwest, plus 2 satellite partnerships with Project Success and the YMCA.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Are you providing food for camp convention? I'm just curious.
Yes,
You are. You're doing that as well.
Yes,
That's
we
just this week.
yes. It was actually snacks, not food. It was the snacks.
Because they're there pretty much the whole day. Many of them, right? Mhm.
Yes, they have food coming from another resource. I had spoken with the coordinator and she said they had food
Okay.
that was donated as a part of the grant or something, so they just needed snacks.
Okay. I was just curious.
I like that, though.
Yeah.
You're on that about food. We're two or more gathered. We need food. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes 5-0. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Now go forth and feed. All right, item 14, buildings and grounds. Thank you, congratulations. Not you. No, I'll say it when you're done.
Fine. Good evening, Board.
Tuck pointing is my favorite thing on the planet, you know.
I know, you're good at that.
Yeah.
I saw the job you did on your
Yeah.
building. Not bad.
You saw that?
Yeah, I did. So first, what I'm going to start with first. Good evening, Board. I'm Skip Truex, Director of Building and Grounds. So I'm here this evening. This is part of our 3-year plan, the 72 edition remodel, which is the basement art rooms, the first floor, second floor, third floor. And let me just explain it a little bit before I ask the board to accept this bid. That project, we're actually gutting that down to the bare, everything is going to be replaced. And when the project first started, it was just going to be the 72 edition. But as I started looking into it, you can't really do science and chemistry if you don't do biology. So I incorporated the biology rooms in addition to the 72 edition. So along with this cost is the remodel of the biology rooms as well. So I wanted to make that a note because most people didn't realize that, because originally we were just talking about just the 72 edition. So it is exciting. We've been working on it for quite some time, as you guys all are familiar with it. I started meeting with teachers on this project at least 3 years ago, and then last fall started having regular meetings with them in different groups. And each group had their buy-in and their dreams and their wants and that sort of thing. And quite honestly, we tried to accommodate all of them. And I think they're very pleased with what we ended up with. So I'm very happy with the project. I'm very pleased with the bids that came in. They're really, really close, which is always a good thing. And I'm asking the board to accept Schomburg Construction's bid this evening, along with the furnishings, which comes to $8,944,458.50.
Thank you. Okay, you have a request for Schaumburg Chopper Construction for the total of 8,944,458.50, right?
That's the total with the
Yeah,
furnishings,
with the
but the
furnishings. Put
furnishings
together.
are separate actually, so.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Truex,
They
Schaumburg
are
and Schaumburg is from,
Danville, Illinois.
hey,
And actually, they're right down Fairchild Street. One of their subs are Anderson Electric, and they're very familiar with our district. They work here quite a bit. And United Mechanical is the sub for the mechanicals in the 72 edition. Along with everything that we're doing there, all of the mechanicals will be replaced, so all new heating and air conditioning from the basement up. So it'll be, the climate will be better in there than what it's been over the years. I also want to add that this is not being funded by ESSER. This project is actually being funded by our school budget because it did not qualify for the ESSER funding. I think one of the reasons why we're able to tackle something of this size is because we had so much ESSER money that we were able to take care of other
Things
issues.
around,
Yeah, juggle it around. And Narcissus and I have been talking about this for quite some time. You know, you don't do something if you don't know that you don't have the funding for it or it's not going to be there. So we've had several meetings and gone over things many times because I'm real crazy about that, making sure that we have everything in order.
Yeah, well, so are we, because, yeah, we don't want to have to pony up the rest when.
No,
we're
actually,
checking.
we're in good shape and we're fine. We're okay.
so not only is this just a tremendous benefit for the high school in terms of when it's finished, how much better it will be for our students, but it's also a benefit for our community using local services, and you know that's important to me. But I knew where they were from, but I wanted you to say it to the public because it's a huge project.
It is. It's a very large project. The timeline will be about 1.5 years constant construction throughout the building, and we're going to have to shuffle things around. You know, we're going to start at the 3rd floor. That's going to be first phase, and then we're going to move things around to different areas. So it's invasive in the high school. It really is. But the end product, I when I had meetings with the teachers and the staff and the administration in the building, you know, I told them, I said, just be patient. It's going to be a long haul, but when it's done, it's really going to be nice. I mean, you know, we're going to have AV rooms. We're going to have green rooms. We're going to have podcasts. We're going to have broadcasting. We're going to have e-gaming area. We're going to have media center. I mean, the art rooms are phenomenal. I mean, they're going to have all new kilns. We're going to have pottery wheels. I mean, it's the kids are just going to.
Appropriate lighting for art.
Everything's going to be new. All the lighting's LED, and it's all appropriate to what we're doing. But I think everyone will be pleasantly surprised when it's done. And I think that we'll have quite a large media blitz at the end of it, so that even the manufacturing and companies in town we'll have an open house so they can come and see it and see what our kids are going to be doing. I think it's going to be pretty nice.
That's exciting.
Even though it is a local contractor, there's another flip side of the coin. Does this contractor have expertise in school construction?
They do. Actually, everyone's vetted, and most of you know my background, so I know most of these people, and I've known them for years. So I know what their skill sets are. I'm perfectly confident that they can handle the project.
It was rhetorical. You know, obviously, I know that they can do the job.
They can.
They've done several huge jobs in the area
They have.
for years.
They're qualified.
Decades. So they should handle this without any problem. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Elder Park,
Yes.
Catherine Miller,
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Eck.
Yes, motion passes 5-0.
I saw a building,
Yeah, we'll clap for that.
you got to check or something you want to give us the reason you come. I just-
Narcissus.
I mean, I want you to just help out, skip.
She has the money.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
She got halfway up there and then she went back
I know.
down. Yeah, because what, you pulling the funding? You can't do that now.
No, it's difficult for me because I have to juggle both of them because Narcissus has money for this project and other things. And then, of course, we have Esser, so it's, you know, it's like constant battle. I'm trying to squeeze money out of both of them all the time.
Good luck, is all I have to say. Now for my favorite topic.
Yeah, tuck pointing. This is equally as important. We have a lot of areas at Edison and Danville High School, and I'd like to add Danville High School, for instance, this is the facing west side of the building. So what I'd like to do is each year do a section, like I want to tackle the west side first, then we'll move around the corner and tackle some of the interior courtyard areas in the back of the building. If you'll notice when you walk around the building, there's a lot of gaps and holes, and when it rains really hard from the west, this Cherry can tell you that the water comes in around the front doors. We have a lot of different areas where there's tuck pointing issues. So, you know, this should correct a lot of that. And then we'll just keep moving around the building as we go. And this is only the beginning of what we're going to do. So I'm asking the board tonight if they would accept the bid from Masonry Restoration for $198,000 for the tuck pointing at Edison and Danville High School.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, but what's the difference? How'd they get so far apart?
Yeah.
You know, that's interesting. I will say, I had put this out for bid 3 times. The first 2 times I put it out for bid, nothing, no one, couldn't get anyone. Finally, what happened was I contacted the union for the Masons and said, look, we need tuck pointers here. The thing about it is there's not very many skilled labor people out there right now, very few, and they're just tied up. And quite frankly, a lot of them there's not a lot. There's a wide open market for skilled trades.
I guess they don't need a $200,000 job.
They don't, because they're booked. It's just like the abatement companies. They're booked by May. They're done for the entire year. You can't get them.
Okay.
You know, it's just
Okay.
it's crazy.
Well, I'm glad we have some. Hope they
Yeah,
show
we're
up.
good.
Whoever we decide.
Yeah.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes 5-0. Good luck tuck pointing. That brings us to item number 15, any informational items. Since we don't have a superintendent, I have no informational items.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board and superintendent comments, we went left, right. This time we will go right to left.
I would just like to thank all of the district staff and administration for their condolences on the loss of my husband. It's a difficult time, but I'm taking it one day at a time. To Mr. DEA, I have a bone to pick. You sent all the board members a introduction. I informed the DEA several times that I never got this. Tonight was the first time I've seen it. And I know that my name was on the sheet, but there was no email address. So I have never seen this until tonight. And I would hope that in the future, if you were sending things out to the board, you would include my email address, because I would like to see it before it goes out on Facebook.
And your email address is correct on the website, correct?
I'm sorry?
The one that's on the website is your correct email address?
Yes.
Okay.
I got your introduction. So just check next time to make sure, because I never got it.
Congratulations, Miss Jerry, on a wonderful graduation. I was trying to remember if we had a board meeting since. I couldn't remember, but it really was a beautiful ceremony. I can see why the tradition of having it on the football field is so special. The kids were wonderful. Their parents and guests were wonderful. It really was a very meaningful thing. So to you and your staff and your students, thank you. It was really great. That's it.
Thank you.
I'll just say again what Ms. Hollivan said. I thought the graduation was very well done, and I was very glad for all of our students. I'm glad for the board tonight to pass and recommend Mrs. Mahone that we'll continue to have her services in our district, as we know we have lots of issues with our students, and she has definitely helped many of our students, and just grateful for that, and just be praying for all of our students over the summer, and praying for our summer school programs, and everything will go well there, and just that we'll continue to move forward again with this year being the first year coming out of COVID, that I again like to just thank all of the administrators, teachers, everyone that has worked hard to get our students back on track. And we're going to continue to pray for their success in the upcoming year, and to, again, all the teachers, all the staff, everyone, administrators, thank you again for your hard work this year.
I just would like to ditto what my other colleagues have said. And to Ms. Cherry, this was my first graduation, and I truly enjoyed myself. I'm praying next year that the good Lord will tone the temperature down a little bit so we don't be out there baking. But I applaud you for doing such an outstanding job. And to Mr. Truax, we're going to be praying for you as you continue to do what you do here at the school, so our school can be a top-notch facility. And also to the Fine Arts Department, as you look for a facilitator. Wow. We're going to be praying for you all, because I know that's going to be a tedious job, but there's got to be somebody out there. And so we believe that he's going to send to you who you need. And so our prayers are with you all. And again, this has been an outstanding year, as has already been stated, coming out of COVID. But you all have hung in there, and in your hanging in there, you're going to be blessed by it. And so God bless you all, and have a marvelous summer. Enjoy yourselves. If you get down to Myrtle Beach, I hope to see you there. Amen.
Was that an invitation? Yeah.
Come on down, Doctor.
Okay. It's a wonderful place to go. We can go to Charleston. Okay. I agree. The graduation was awesome. You can keep saying it because it was just awesome. It was a wonderful day. It's really fun, but we've said that before, because it's one of the best times of being a board member is having graduation. So thank you very much, and all the work that went with that. Thank you for the survey. Okay, appreciate that. As I was going through all this, it kind of struck me. We put $8 million into this, and we have doing this, and we're doing our facilities here, and we're working really. And Skip, I saw crews out already at Edison doing. I mean, really, it's kind of fun. For those who think that we don't notice what's going on, we're driving around all the time, and I don't know about you. I know you all do. It's the same thing. I go down to Grossberger's, to see what's going on at Southview, and and check it out all the time. So we're constantly looking to see what happens. But my point is, we do a lot for the facilities, but it means nothing unless our staff is taken care of also, because it goes back to something I learned a long time ago. The number one indicator for success is the student's teacher. Is the number one indicator for success is the student's teacher, the quality of the student's teacher, the relationship with that teacher. So, when we see these things, yes, our relationship with the staff, whatever we can do to improve it, we need to do. Okay? Well, I shouldn't say whatever, but we need to be cognizant of that. We talk about it all the time. Okay? And we talk about discipline, we talk about that, we talk about the staff, we talk about everything. We are, again, aware that we need to take care of the staff, and we want this morale to be better. Okay, we just needs to be. So it's been a tough year. That's done. Excuses done. New year. Okay, we just talked about the calendar. We had a COVID. We had a whole bunch of things that we talked about that put us in where we graduated. That's done, and I hope we don't revisit that again. And I don't think that we will. So that we end the school on time next year. Everyone's going to be happy next year. We'll all work together this next year, and hopefully we're just going to have a wonderful year going up. But like I said, we appreciate this thing. We just need to do something with this and move forward, and hopefully bring about a better year for next year. So with that, I will adjourn us, and like I said, try and stay cool. Thank you all for coming this evening. Get out of here and go home.
Well, Lakeisha, we went about